Okay, so I'm in charge, so I'm going to start myself now, okay? So I want to talk about being a dad. Now, I'm eminently qualified, being as I have got 5 children of my own, all the way up to like a 12-year-old to from a 1-year-old, everything in between. So that's why I look so tired. So I'm quite qualified to talk about that. So dads teach you things, and I learned a lot from my dad. That's in there with my youngest. That's Rose and my dad. So I'm going to waffle on a little bit about being a dad, which you might find a little bit boring and mawkish. Some people are new to dads, but so the main thing is to be fearless and just kind of get on with stuff, because there's nothing more daunting than bringing that baby home the first time and going, oh my God, what do I do with this? So it takes 2 people to wipe a nappy and wipe a nose and go and fetch bits of paper to mess about with its bum when it's done a poo. It's scary. My dad was fearless. I once took him to see the FA Cup semi-final, and walking up the thing was Alan Hansen, if anyone's no idea who this is. And my dad, bright as day, went, all right, Alan. No idea who he was at all, but he didn't care. Alan went, oh yeah, no idea who you are. So my dad didn't care at all. He would speak to anyone, whether you were bin man or the Prime Minister, although the present Prime Minister he would probably hit. Because he's a Yorkshire man and he didn't really get on with the kind of David Camerons of this world. So my dad taught me to give my kids as much rope as I could so they could kind of hang themselves, but just enough so I could pull them back just from the brink, which is quite a tricky little act. It's a fine balancing act. Any new parents out there, that's something I definitely stick to. So my dad obviously taught me my sartorial elegance. Thank you. Come on, a bit more than that. That's my dad on his honeymoon. My hair at the minute is resembling my dad from 1965 or whatever that is, which is a little bit worrying. One thing my dad did teach me was that when you start drinking, you should always drink your first pint in 3 gulps. I still can't do it to this day, and I've never really understood why that is such a skill, but my dad swore by it. He taught me about hard work. This is the kind of stuff that you're gonna expect from a Yorkshire dad. Hard work's very important. You get up when you're supposed to at 6 o'clock in the morning. You go to work. You're always on time, and you work yourself like a dog. Unfortunately, he worked for the council. It didn't do him any good at all. My dad was a painter and decorator, so he worked for the council. He did try to teach me how to paint and decorate. I can do emulsion, but he used to drive me. He used to really scream at me when I tried the glossy bit because it all ran, and I just didn't have the patience. And in the end, he'd just do it anyway. So that was a waste of time. He did teach me that this is the prop bit. Is eminently funny. Never gets old, that. I just managed to do that in 15 seconds. I didn't think I managed that. He tried to teach me how to fish. My dad loved fishing, but it was dull as hell. I mean, Jesus, come on. Out in the countryside, it's lovely, but you just sat watching, well, that. Well, it's lovely, but for a couple of hours and nothing happens. My dad was an artist, and he was pretty good at art, but he hated my perspective. He'd go, you're really good at it, but you can't draw perspective for shit. He once told my art teacher while I was there at opening night, and that was a little bit embarrassing. So it was... one thing my dad didn't teach me was how to cook. This is sprouts. My dad would have chucked in a big bucket full of bicarb, effectively turning it to mush with absolutely no taste or calorific use or anything. It was just a big green pile of mush. However, food was big on my dad, so one thing he did teach was how to eat. Now this is stew and dumplings, and there's a rule with stew and dumplings is you must never ever use a knife to cut your dumpling. That's it. He also taught me how not to eat as well. This is bread dripping. Yeah, we had a pot of this in the cupboard constantly. My dad would slap it all over a bit of bread and take it, and no wonder he died earlier than heart attack, really. He also taught me how to buy shit cars. I remember that's something I still buy shit cars to this day. Never bought a good one. Oh, I did, and then I scratched it and knocked it all up and ruined it. It was awful. And so I bought a good car and made it shit. My dad taught me how to kind of be an adventurer. He was always on these great ideas. When he was in the army, he went across to Singapore and the Far East and all these other places. But we always set up going, well, yeah, this time we're going to Scotland. Scotland's where we're going to go. We ended up in Cleethorpes every time without fail because it was too far to go to in Scotland. Why would you do that? Sentimental slide is my dad taught me always to never go to bed in an argument and keep your family close and look after each other. After his house, he was a grumpy old sod, but that was the bit he stuck to. Thank you very much.